Howdy. Just touching base again. Getting ready, closer and closer to leaving. And I thought I'd share with you my process for figuring my mail drops and how I prepared my food and kept track of it all. What I did to figure out my mail drops is I came up with an agenda. You know, it's a soft agenda, but still just to give myself a plan. Was that if a trail went through a town, I would definitely get a mail drop there. If it didn't go near the town, I would try to resupply long enough to get past that section of trail. Or if I found a hostel that was close to the trail, I'll be stopping there and have a mail drop delivered to there. The other thing I did was, while I was collecting all these foods, which took over the last couple of months, I came up with a spreadsheet to track the meals so that I had a better idea of how much I was buying, and so that I would know where to stop. My plan at this time, and I'll probably repeat it a few more times, is I figured I needed 26 mail drops. I'm only going to prepare 13. And then at 13, as I get down the trail and as I get the education of being on the trail, I plan on adjusting that to see if the mail drops are even worth doing. Part of the push for me to do mail drops was when I hear other hikers saying that, you know, you're going to stop in a gas station and pick up a jar of peanut butter, or that supplies was low, and I just don't want to take a chance on all that. I'd rather be in a little more control if possible. So I guess I'll start off by sharing my spreadsheet. What I have here is an Excel spreadsheet, and what I did to help track how many meals I was preparing, which at first didn't seem like a big deal, but then when you start getting in larger quantities. So what I did is, I'll zoom in here a little bit, is I took some oatmeal, and I didn't want to eat just plain old oatmeal, so we tried that PB Fit. It's a powdered peanut butter. And I also, from Harmony House, I bought dehydrated fruit. It was actually freeze-dried fruit, so I added that to the oatmeal. And just to give myself some variety during the week, I put strawberry in it, blackberry, raspberry, and then also to add a different variety than just peanut butter, I added cinnamon, and then peaches, and then cinnamon, and then apples. And then to get away from that a little bit further, I think it was in Lip Snacking book I found, they called it Boulder Lake Breakfast Bar. That worked out pretty good, so I made up a few of them. The calories are right, and I can't tell you, a lot of these books, I can't tell you enough about them. They give you the nutrition, calories, what you got to do at home, what you got to do on trail. And knowing myself, is I didn't want to do anything on trail, so most anything I picked, all I had to do was eat it. So then there was another brand of energy type bars we found, Kind, and to me, I thought they were a Rice Krispie treat, but they're actually different seeds and stuff, and they were pretty tasty, so I got some of them to try it. And so what I did was I added up how many meals I had here, quantity, total number of days. I had 66 made up. Most of my mail drops are going to be 5-day mail drops, and my total for this trip was going to be the 26 that I indicate right here. And so I have a formula up here to tell me out of all these, how many do I have? I have 13 made up, which is good. And then I need, so the other thing I did, and I'll go down to the bottom here, is then I've got my lunches. So I'm going to go in on my lunches. And again, what I did here was, I had chicken soup. I brought the manufacturer down in case my support person is going to have to go out and buy these again to kind of give them an idea. We have a Christmas tree store here. They have a pretty good reason. They're like $2 or $2.98, and I get 4 servings out of that. So this one here I didn't have to cook, so that was good. The minestrone, that was just another powdered soup, and it probably had, if I'm getting 2 servings out of it, it probably was a 4-serving deal. This one was 8 servings. I do remember that. I wasn't sure that this was Bear Creek, so I left it blank. Then there was some Tuscan white bean, which I kind of liked. So a can, didn't have any meat products in it, so I went ahead and dehydrated that just for giggles. The other ones I picked up at the Christmas tree from Bear Creek was cheddar broccoli, and then I've got a bunch of these from BJ's, different soups. Another Bear Creek product was the navy bean, the tortilla, and I found that at Big Lots. The interesting thing is that you find somebody that handles Bear Creek, they won't have all the flavors of Bear Creek. You go to another store, they got totally different supplies. Then it's Alisi, I found at Big Lots, and it was also at our local supermarkets I found later. But they had this Neapolitan bean soup and Tuscan white bean soup, and I kind of like that. Plus the beans are good for you for the protein. So again, I went through naming all them, or numbering them up, how many, and there's 80 of them. I got a 5-day mail drop deal, 18. So I've got more than enough here for my first part of my trip. I'm doing the same thing here with dinners, with the trail food. There's actually 2 parts to that trail food, and what I've got is I've got the Cliff Bars. How many of those I've got, and then I got the Snickers. I got the plain, the almond, and I had some Paydays, and then I had Kit Kats, and there's a total of 12 there. The other thing it is, I made up my own Gorp in 1-cup packages, and I went through the weight because I was going to make up my own, but I happened to be at Walmart, and Walmart had 1 pound 10-ounce trail mix bags. One was a trail mix, one was a tropical mix, and they had a couple other ones. So what I did was I took one of the tropical and one of the trail, mixed them together, and it made X number of, I didn't write that down, but I forget exactly what I got out of that. I think 4 days or something like that, 4 or 5 days. Might have been more. I don't remember. I still needed to go and get a couple because I got 15 of them set up, so that's enough to get me started. I still need 11 more for the whole trip. But again, I'm going to wait till I get up trail and see what's going on. So the next thing I did was my dinners. Actually, the lunches I got the other thing is I'm going to have soup certain days of the week. And when I was hiking with the scouts in Philmont, we went 2 different stretches out there, and I was introduced to these pemmican bars. I couldn't find them up here in the Northeast, so I went online, found Bear Valley. I think, was it REI? They sell them, but they didn't have the variety I wanted. I got 60 bars. Ended up costing me about $1.40 a bar plus shipping, and so if I added the 18 into that, it cost me more, I'm sure, than $1.40 a bar. So that variety. So I'm planning on doing a couple of them during the week instead of the soup. So I'm going to be mixing it out. So I'm pretty set with my lunches. Sorry for this. I tried to do this with my Sony, but I just couldn't get close enough to the screen to make things work. So I'm going to go over to dinners now. In dinners, there's a variety there of what I did. And so like the spaghetti, which is I'm working on now, I'm going to have to bump that up because I just created 6 more. So if I type 6 in here, plus 6, we just go up here. You can do this equals thing here. You guys that know how to work this stuff, just add 6 to it. And then you can see that my number of days will change when I do this. So now I got 6 more days added to there, and I've actually got 5-day mail drops. 5-day mail drops. I got 15 of them. Now that mail drop might not be just 5 days, but during the plan of this trip, I planned 5 days in between each of my resupplies. I tried to keep it there, and most of you know on the trail you can't really do that religiously, so it's going to change. That's why I wanted to stop at my 13 mail drops and then reevaluate and then send instructions home of how we're going to proceed. So anyways, I got the spaghetti, I got this brown serve stuff, and that was Seeds of Change. These cook at home. I cooked these at, of course this is homemade, I cooked these at home because they were a patch that you just threw in a microwave, already had the water and everything in them. So 90 seconds later in the microwave, you had them. I was afraid the pouches would explode. So what I did was I cooked them and then dehydrated them just to make things easier. But then I found some more of these Bear Creek, 2 servings, Southern Rice 1, probably because it was a 2 cup. I found most of them said that a serving was a cup. Well, most all of us know that a cup doesn't feed even the smallest person usually. So I brought everything out into 2 cups servings. So when I say quantity, that's the day actually. So then I went down through here and then stroganoff. And what I substituted in a lot of these is, again, from Harmony House. I bought their beefish stuff, or their meatish products, the chicken, ham, taco. And the chicken and the beef one, they have little bits and they've got chunks. So I added that to these meals just to kind of give myself, like the buffalo chicken one there in the middle, there's 2 servings of that. I actually added chicken to that one. The teriyaki noodles, I don't think I did anything with. But the pasta sides, the chicken, yeah, I added stuff to that. The Mexican sides, I put the taco stuff in there, figuring, at least it's headed in the right direction flavor-wise. I didn't test these because by the time with all this sitting around I've been doing, by the time I eat all these high carbs, high energy things, I'm going to be weighing 300 pounds. So I had to stop someplace. I'll tell you one I do like at home, and I know we've ate it before, is from Bear Creek. It's darn good chili. There's 8 servings for the package, and there it's under $3 for the package. And what I found, though, they said it makes 8. They only want 7 cups of water, so I added another cup of water yesterday when I dehydrated them, and then I added out of my dehydrated food supplies or stocks or whatever. I added some more pinto beans to it to kind of help with the water if the water is too much for this. Because I've done other packages before yesterday, and the 7 always ended up being not quite, or never quite ended up being 8. So I wanted to make sure, and I did. I had enough. The other thing I got here is these mashed potatoes. The product that I used was Idaho. That's who the manufacturer was. And I did open those up, and I added, and I'll show this stuff later, I added some gravy mix and maybe some beef chunks to it, maybe hamish, depending on what was going on. When I say I redid them, I cut them out of their packages, and I put them into a Ziploc bag, but I didn't close the Ziploc bag. I put them into one of those suction bags, and just went ahead and sucked all the air out of them, and then it does a seal, one of those food sealers. I had the Uncle Ben's, if anybody's familiar with them, they're like the microwave ones too. I ended up cooking those and doing the same process with those by putting them in a dehydrator and then packaging them. I do believe I did add some meat products to them. Probably the hamish, because I couldn't figure out where to use most of the hamish. The other list I have is this dessert one. Crank on there. And basically I'm going to use the neutral bars on that. I do still have a bunch of freeze-dried fruit, and I just got to figure out, put them in a Ziploc bag and seal them up, vacuum seal them, and take them on to get a variety. I allowed myself 2 bars, 2 of these apple, 2 blueberry or whatever, 2 of each for dessert at night. I figured along with the 2 cups of food, and that'll substitute. It'll give me a little bit of variety. The other thing I did was I found some drink mixes. That was kind of if you ever looked at them, there isn't a lot in those drink mixes. They're little tubes of some kind of powder. You put them in 16 ounces of water, and then from there, shake it up and drink it. I'm going to stop this for now and get back to you as soon as we get into the staging area for all my packaging. What I have here is I've got a little scale, and I got one of those vacuum sealers. Right now I've got 6 servings of pasta waiting on them. It's actually some kind of elbow thing. And what I did for my support person, my wife, is I went out and bought a stack of drawers based on food groups, and I thought these would be plenty, and as I got into it, they're not. I have maybe 10 mail drops worth of mail drops in these things. I figured for the trip I've got 26 total that I'm going to be using during the trip. But right now I figured I didn't want to get all the food done just in case things change on the trip and I decide, you know, mail drops just aren't worth it. But I'm starting the trip out with 13 of them. So what I did to try to accommodate all that is any of my overflow stock is I came in and I put some coolers, like this one here has got breakfast stuff in it and dinner or soup stuffs. Then I got another one over here that's got my dinners in it. If I get there better. And then I've got desserts. Then what I got over here is I got a table that I got set up, and I have been buying, when I find decent prices on stuff, all the Cliff Bars are going to be like my trail food type stuff. So right now I'm getting ready to start packaging them up into mail drop size pouches. Again, trying to make things a little easier on my support person, which is my wife. What I'd like to do is go over some of the items that I've done to make my dinners, to try to get myself a variety. Yeah, I'll get started with the breakfast stuff. I mean, I bought Quick Oats that I was showing you on that spell. This was this is the product I bought, and used sparingly. I mean, a little bit of this goes a long way. The directions are pretty simple, straightforward. But I did mix some up. I might mix some of these up for my lunches as far as just to have some peanut butter on me rather than carry it, because it mixes up very quickly. Just a little bit of water, it's like a teaspoon of this stuff with 2 teaspoons of water, and you got about a little over a tablespoon worth of goop. So if you needed more on your sandwich, just dress it accordingly. I'm going to pack it in Ziploc bags and give it a go, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So the other things I did with the dessert, or with the breakfasts, is I added, these are the Harmony House products, these little jars. These are raspberries. I got some strawberries here. Of course, these are not much left of them. I used a lot of them already. But I've got 12 of these jars, and it was a lot cheaper to buy the whole 12. And here's some peaches. And there's tropical fruit in there. There's all kinds of fruit. There's 12 jars of just fruit. It's freeze dried, so it has a little different texture than if you just plain old dried it out. As far as lunches go, I got these are the pemmican bars. I'm going to add these Cliffs up here, so I got a stage. These are the pemmican bars, and they come in. That's a chocolate almond. I think there's like a no, that's coconut, or is that? Yeah, that's coconut. And I should have been more prepared for this, and I'm not. I apologize to it. They do have a fruity one here someplace that I like, the fruit and nut. And these are excellent bars. They're not hard to chew. They're a little bit on the soft side, but boy, they fill you up, and they're loaded with stuff to help curb your appetite and help your body survive all this. The other things I did do was here's one of those Bear Creek soups. The serving size in this is supposed to be, it says cooks in 15 minutes, so that's another little water together and write that down on my bag when I dehydrated them. What the beefish stuff looks like, I can show you here. Here's what a taco and its bits. This one's not in chunks, so you can see it's just little bits. You haven't tried it, but when you open it up, you can definitely smell the taco stuff in there. And then the beefish one, I didn't do this, the bits one, I did chunks, and I made up a stew just on all Harmony products, and it came out pretty good. But I ran into all these lower priced Knorr and Bear Creek ones, and they just struck me as something I'd rather do than try to mix all. Because the problem with the Harmony House, or the issue I have with it, and it's just me, is you got to figure out what the quantities are. How many beans, how many carrots, how many this, how many that. And if you don't get it right, I don't think it's any big deal, but you're not going to have one that's already pre-mixed like these other ones where everything's considered. And here's the chickenish. Now those are the chunks that you get in the beef also. Now the thing of it is with these, you don't really get the output that you do with these because there's a lot more in here. When those start swelling up versus when you put a cup of these in there, you're getting a lot more than a cup of the chicken because of these all the little nooks and crannies in between them. So it's like when you go to Big Lots, check the expiration dates, because I went there and I go, man, this is a great price. I forgot what the heck it was, but when I looked at the expiration date, it was April this year, and that wasn't acceptable. Same on the Bear Creek products. You got to keep an eye on that too, because a lot of them are expiring by the end of this year. Which, if you make the through hike, that's not going to be an issue. But if you're planning for next year and you start buying this stuff, just be very careful of that. Now the Harmony House, they run some nice deals. They're easy to deal with. And I think you get free shipping over a certain amount. You don't on those pemmican bars though. Those are heavy. Here are some more Knorr examples. Other than just pasta sides, you have this one here. It's the Cajun sides. And then I like Cajun type foods. Cajun, I found these this weekend. Like dirty rice. I'll probably add some of my meat products to this to help boost it up. And there's also the rice size. And this one I found is steak fajita. I know that probably get some of that beefish in there. It'll be pretty tasty. And then the other one, still another rice side, is this buffalo chicken. Again, that's another thing I found. It depends on what stores you go to find these products. Okay, I'm going to start by repackaging this buffalo chicken. I don't know if you can see that or not. So nothing's fancy about it. I usually just quickly, I just open this up and I'll give you a little history on the paper bag. From listening to others, they say you need to protect the dehydrated food from the plastic bags because they have a tendency to puncture the bags after a while. So I'm not going to argue with them. I've already mixed up my chickenish stuff. I got my half cup of that. So I'm adding that in there. Generally, I just give the bag a little shake, mix it up. Now, this is just something I do for myself. Is I cut off the excess bag because I don't really need it. This is to help protect things. And what I have is two plastic bags. One is this for the vacuum sealing, and the other one I use a regular freezer bag because I plan on using freezer style cooking. I'm not going to cook in any of in my one pot that I have, which is that mini mold. So I wrap the plastic bag with the Ziploc. Then these are the pre-cut bags. I put my stuff in there, stuff it way down in, and I don't want to use all this bag, and I found just for my own uses I need about 1.5 inches added to here. So then I just cut off the excess bag and whip it, throw the rest of it away. It's no good to me, and I don't want to cack because it just takes up too much space. So then the next thing to do is just throw it in my dehydrator, lock her down, hit this pump, and it sucks the air out of it. When that gets done, boom, and now it's doing a seal. Probably can't see the red light out over here. When that gets done, it's done. And coop. So there, now I got a meal. It's all sealed and it's ready to go. The other thing I will do on here is I'll put how much water quantity, label it, and date it. Normally I pre-do that on all. If I got multiple bags to do, I pre-write everything up before I get started with this process. But that's all there is to it. and this will last for a lot longer time. I did find that these bags, just from handling them, they start getting real thin, and I've had a couple of them that were already open, so I thought this is a much better way to go with it. And every one of my meals I did the same way. The brown lunch bag wrapped with a Ziploc bag, and then the food food saver seal on it. That way I always have a Ziploc bag for each meal. I don't have to worry about planning how many bags I need. It's already done here at home, and it's a clean environment that I'm working in versus what outdoors is going to give me. So, well, that's it.